Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gonna do a little quick video just answering a question I've seen asked several times. Somebody just asked it on this last video I did, so kind of brought it up again. But it's asking about running for more than one carrier if you're able to. And the quick and short of it is yes, you can. So that's simply all you want to know. Guess you can close the video out now, but there's a little more to it as far as whether or not you should, and if you do, what's the best way to do it? Who do you do it for? You know, what companies are there? And if you're able to run for more than one company, one carrier, just being a multi-carrier, and that's the question you want to ask the carrier whenever you call them. You want to ask them if they're a multi-carrier, or if they allow you to run for more than one carrier. That's the question you want to ask them. Now, the carriers, when you call them, some of them might say that they're exclusive, which means you can only run for that one carrier. Now, some people think that running with multi-carriers, doing more than one carrier, is going to benefit them. I've never ran for more than one carrier at a time, but just from being out here, the way I've kind of paid attention to things, I will give you my opinion on running for more than one carrier, as far as how best to do it if you were going to go that route. Because some people just simply think, oh, if I got more than one carrier looking for me, I mean, I'm bound to get a load. The first part of that is if you're with more than one carrier, say you're with three, some people want to do 5, 4, whatever, just say you're with 3. Now that's 3 carriers that they're more than likely all on the same load board, which means they've all got your location pinned, and they're all probably bidding on the same load. Which, depending on the type of carrier you are, you might be putting a carrier into the mix that's a cheap bidding carrier, so the rates are going to go down. So that's the one negative of it, is that everybody's bidding on the same load. It's not really benefiting you. Now, where it could benefit you is, out of those 3 carriers, does one of those carriers have a better relationship or a good relationship at all with the broker that's got the load on the load board? So there's one of your benefits to you. If you have one carrier bidding on a load, like say the first carrier calls you and says, hey, I got a load out of such and such that I'm going to bid on, are you interested? And you tell them yes. Now, per policy, per usual rules, or what they require of you or ask of you, is that you're supposed to call your other 2 carriers and say, hey, I'm on hold for 20 minutes, I've got to bid out with this other carrier. That's what you're supposed to do. Now just imagine, not most people do that, but just imagine if you did, like all the phone calls you're going to be dealing with, just phone call after phone call, and then so now you've got 2 carriers that can't even bid on you because you're being bid by the one. So if you're doing it as you should, then that's what's going to happen. Now, what can happen if you don't do it the right way? Say one gets you a load that put a bid. Now another one was bidding on something else, and now 2 of the carriers you're signed with have gotten a load. Now you're going to have to turn one of them down. Now, granted, yeah, you can pick the better of the 2, and that's all good for you, but what you're going to do is you're going to create a bad relationship with one of those carriers. So you're kind of creating a lot of chaos by having multi-carriers. If I were to do a multi-carrier, which I've thought about, just because it's just always looking at all my options, and if I was going to do a multi-carrier, I would do it per region, like just looking at a map and per region. Find a carrier that's good in their area. And there's plenty of carriers out there that if you're in their immediate area, they can get you out. They have a problem getting you back in or getting you anywhere else once you've left their little general vicinity. So, find a carrier out on the West Coast if you travel out to the West Coast. Just, that way they should have some good relationships with people on the West Coast. Somebody in Texas, if you go to Texas a lot. Somebody up in Minnesota, Wisconsin area. Somebody over on the East Coast. Somebody down south. Just try to pay attention to the work that they do as far as how well they do. Obviously you want to try to talk to drivers with certain carriers, so that's why you got to start talking to drivers. Ask them, if they do multi-carriers, ask them for the carriers they use if they're going to give you that information. Some people may not. Working with the multi-carrier in that way, like doing it per region, I feel that would work out best, because I've seen that a lot. that there are a lot of carriers that are good in their specific area, and they just have a problem once you're gone from their area because they've got certain relationships with people, in their city or in their vicinity or in their state, which, as I said, would benefit you in the long run if you got one here, one there, just scattered throughout the map. Again, you still got to do it the same way. You got to call in, but you know that if you're near a certain carrier, that would be the one that you'd want to, let them bid on you and tell the other ones, hey, I'm on a bid. That would be how I would handle the multi-carrier. I prefer exclusive because, again, I don't want the hassle of a million phone calls. I don't want the hassle of two carriers getting a load at the same time and having to turn one down, and just dealing with all that pissiness and everything. Because from my experience, from what I've seen, is with people with the carriers that are allowing the multi-carrier, a little less professional, and so you start getting more into, it's where you start hearing stuff about arguing with the dispatcher, dumb stuff like that. It's just unnecessary BS. It just, if you do everything the right way, find a good carrier to get with, you got a good vehicle, you got a good system going, there's no reason why an exclusive carrier wouldn't work for you. But some people like the multi-carrier because they feel like, oh, I got more than one going for me, so I'm going to get all kinds of freight. And, well, I haven't seen anybody really be super successful doing multi-carrier. Long and short of it, it's up to you, the individual, what you want to do. But yes, you can do the multi-carrier. There are carriers out there that allow you to sign up with more than one. If anybody out there that's watching these videos, if you guys do multi-carrier, let me know if it's working out well for you. You don't have to tell me the carriers, but just let me know if it's working out well for you and how you like it, the pros and cons of it. It'd be interesting to get some feedback from somebody that's actually doing a multi-carrier currently, especially with the state everything's in, because it seems some of the smaller carriers have been kind of suspending service or shutting down completely, So, alright guys, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to get the hell out of here, and I will holler at you guys in the next video.